gang ritual. Run the ball like Mitchell, or you can be like Reynolds and Skeptical. Give it to Johnston and you'll get triple. Pass it to Cleary, you know he'll run the pitch. Score points like Jabojevic, I'm game day fit, no need a switch. Cooking up like Quickie Man's in the kitchen. Who's that on the wing? It's Sivo. Score, try and do the Guffrino. Don't get too rowdy or too keen, or you'll end up like Hassan Tino. Get a 40-20 like DCE. Run the ball like hectic cheese. Support runner, that's Pappenhausen, but I still got Teddy at the SCG.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Final Siren podcast. We're really happy to be back. Obviously, a few days break. A few of us have had a lot of stuff going on. I myself went down to New South Wales. I got to meet Faraz, the man, the myth, the legend himself. And since coming back, I've had a bit of a cold. That's why we haven't been live for the last few days. But gents, great to be back here with you. I'll start off with Lockie. How you doing today, mate?
Yeah, good boys. Good to be back. I think it was a handy little break that we all needed for a little bit, but now we're keen to get back into it for a big run for the middle way of the season.
Yeah, definitely. The NRL season, it's really hitting its straps now. We're moving on to round 8 already. So we'll be reviewing round 7 and previewing round 8. But Davos, how are you doing today, mate?
Yeah, I'm good now. Obviously missed being on the potty with you boys. We all needed a bit of a break, and I can't wait to continue filming with you boys. So yeah.
Very true. It has been a little while since we've spoken. And last but not least, Faraz, it's been a little while since we last spoke as well. And last time we did speak was when I was in New South Wales, and I absolutely hammered you in a game of cricket. How are you doing today, mate?
I'll let you have that one for now, mate. But no, it's good to be back with the boys. It's been a while since all four of us have been here together, but great to meet you as well in real life, Noah. It's been a pleasure, mate. I had a great time. Also smacked you for cricket, but we'll leave that for another day. But yeah, good to be back, and the footy season's been kicking, eh?
Yeah, like I said before, round 8 already. The season's gone incredibly fast. Round 1, it seems like it was only a couple of days ago to me that the Eels and Storm faced each other, and Harry Grant scored that golden point try. But alas, it was not. It was up to 7 weeks ago now. Gee whiz. So we'll start off with, obviously, the round review of round 7. I've got all the results here so far. We'll start off with the Thursday night results. Dolphins versus Rabbitohs. The Rabbitohs ended up getting the win over the Dolphins 36-14. Maybe we'll start off with Lachlan. What were your thoughts on the game, mate?
I mean, I tipped the Dolphins. I thought they started really well. I did think they started really quick, and the Rabbitohs struggled a bit there. But as soon as to the back end of that first half, the Dolphins slipped away a bit in their attack. They got a bit clunky, and the Rabbitohs just showed their class in the second half. They dominated from the whistle. Can't take that away from it. Cody Walker was amazing, I thought. Latrell Mitchell injected himself at the right times. Overall, he wasn't the greatest, but Rabbitohs got the 2 points. That's the main thing.
Yeah, definitely. Davos, maybe you can go ahead and tell us what your thoughts were.
Yeah, well, this game was dominated by Cody Walker. He's had a sensational start to 2023, and Latrell Mitchell is also outstanding. Look, the Dolphins did start really well, but then they just went away, and the Rabbitohs took control. And Latrell Mitchell and Cody Walker were the two standouts for me.
Yeah, definitely. And last but not least, Faraz, what were your thoughts on the game? And Cody Walker, like Davos said, he's had a really good start to the season.
Yeah, he has. He's found his hands, hasn't he? But look, the Dolphins, they put up a fight in the first half, but they faded away in the second half, unfortunately. That sin bin probably changed the game. The Rabbitohs came back strongly, but for them to be taken as a premiership threat, they got to be better than what they dished up on Thursday night. The Dolphins had their number for a fair bit, but as we expected, once they got some injuries and the sin bin, Rabbitohs just marched back home.
Yeah, and that's fair enough to say. I think the game, Dolphins really looked like they had South Sydney on the ropes the whole game. The whole first half. And then the second half, South Sydney, they showed their experience, they showed the players they had, and how they can win the games. And that's exactly what they did. Thank you to the chat already popping off. Harry Rector, Terry Lamb, Nick Sam, and Stuart Butcher, 4 OGs in the chat at the moment. Keep the questions coming. We'll get to them soon. Move on to Friday evening. Someone else will take over the hosting for this game. Lachlan, you're next in line, so host us through this one.
Yeah, so we'll start with Davos, but I'll just quickly add this game. I mean, it was the Roosters to lose. They had all the players, but Nico Hines, he's an absolute different level to what the Roosters were. Oh, the Roosters were a bit slack, but I think this round they'll be a lot better. The Sharks are a team to not sleep on, but we'll get Davos's thoughts to start with.
Yeah, well, I tipped the Roosters this game, but I was wrong. And Nico Hines, he's been absolutely outstanding to start the season. In my opinion, he should be the number 6 for New South Wales. He deserves it. I thought Nick Cora and Brayley were also outstanding. They contributed heaps. With the Roosters, I think they're just starting to get into their own heads, to be honest. Like, I think because their team looks so good on paper, they think they can just bash and crash teams and they'll fall for it. But it's not the case, and the Sharks definitely proved that. So, yeah, it was a great win by the Sharks.
Yeah, maybe it was Matt Lodge's headgear, but we'll get on to Raz.
No, we missed the lucky jokes, haven't we? But look, I tipped the Roosters and I tipped them 13 plus, so jokes on me. But I think Cronulla are the real deal this year, mate. I honestly do. I think with Nico Hines firing with another year under his belt with experience, their forward pack, they're a tough side to beat at Shark Park. The Roosters, for me, they always sort of do this, so I wouldn't be too worried about them just yet. They started slow last year, and then they came back strongly. So, look, the Roosters are still finding their gears. Obviously, it hasn't been the same since Cronk left that system, but I think the Sharks dominate the middle. A few controversial calls here and there, but Sharks were the better team, and Nico Hines turned on the second half.
I think the difference for me this year is Will Kennedy at the back, I think, is what the difference that Sharks team is at the moment.
His attack's gone up the level as well.
Yeah. We'll just get up Noah real quick to get him away from the phone so it doesn't end up like Davos, but what were your thoughts?
This game was it was a bit of a snooze fest, honestly. I expected a really good game from both teams. Sin bins galore, and I think it was three sin bins in the match, which you don't see too often unless it's Roosters versus Rabbitohs at this point. So I'm not too sure. Like you said, Lockie, I think Roosters had the better team, and honestly, they should have won the game. With the squad they have, I feel like Roosters this year they're really undermining people's expectations. People had high expectations of the Roosters. You yourself have tipped them in as minor premiers, but so far not so good for the Roosters.
Yeah. I'll hand over the reins to Davos now.
Yeah, so we'll move on to the other Friday night game, the Sea Eagles versus the Melbourne Storm, and obviously I'll start off first. Look, I got to give credit where credit's due. It wasn't a great game, but the Sea Eagles were obviously the better team. I thought DC was absolutely outstanding with his kicking game. Ola Kawadu putting some absolute banging shots on Justin Olam. Yeah, they were just the better team, the Sea Eagles, and the Storm just didn't really play well, to be honest. Like, I didn't watch the game because I was at work, but from what I saw from the stats, Warbrick had a solid game, but apart from him and maybe a couple others like Welsh, none of them really played well, to be honest. Lockie, I'll get your thoughts on the game. What were your thoughts on the Sea Eagles and the Storm performances?
It was a physical game. It's probably the most physical I've seen so far this year, to be honest. I think the refs' calls were a bit iffy, but they're always the first one we pick on. We sort of look at the Storm here and the points that they've scored that they weren't the better team. Cameron Munster, the man's a freak. I mean, if it wasn't for him, the Storm probably lose that by a lot more. So credit goes to him.
Really...
Manly, they're just getting that bit hot and cold at the moment. They get pumped by 31 week and then they're outbeating Melbourne the next. So they're hard to judge. They'll be hard going into the middle of the season, I think, if DCE can keep firing his shots. But yeah, Justin Olam got folded into an Easter bunny in my pantry. So
that was a brilliant shot from Ola Kawatu.
Yeah.
Faraz, what were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I'm sort of pinching at myself for this because I was tempted to tip Manly, but their left edge defense hasn't been impressive, so I went Melbourne with some points on offer. Got the tip wrong, but look, Battle of the Brookie, that proved out to be an enthralling and spicy contest, but I wouldn't say it was the best game overall to watch. A lot of sloppy errors. And the one thing that confused me, Melbourne taking the 2 when they were like, 10 points down. I don't know what the score was, but I think that was a crucial moment in the game, and then Manly took on from there. Melbourne got affected by the sin bin. I will say Melbourne did show a lot of fight, but Manly had too much in the tank at home, and then Clark strolled over, and that was it for Melbourne. So it's a bit I don't know how to judge both teams because both have had some like good wins and some bad losses. So at the moment, I'm not sure where both teams stand, but good to see Manly get the upset. And once again, this season is unpredictable by that result.
Oh, definitely. It's been a very weird season. Yeah, there have been a few results where we didn't predict it, but it's happened. So, last but not least, Noah, what were your thoughts on the game?
This one was a bit of a weird one. So I've pretty much watched every game so far, like for that weekend, for that round. And this one was definitely not one of the better ones to watch. Was it entertaining in sort of how close it was? Yes. But as for the quality of football, both teams were lacking quality-wise. The Storm did not look like the Storm we've come to know from the last decade or so. And the Eagles, I mean, it was lucky that either team won this game, honestly. It could have gone either way. It was a flip of a coin who would win this game. And Seagulls were lucky enough to end up running away with it. But, I mean, that's just life. Last week, I was the only one in this podcast to have Seagulls tipped, and then at last second, I changed my tip to Storm. So, serves me right. Always trust your gut. Always trust your gut.
All right, so now I'll pass it over to Faraz to give us his insight on the Warriors versus Cowboys game.
Yeah, so we've got Saturday Arvo footy, and we head down to New Zealand for the first match of Saturday. We've got the Warriors taking on the Cowboys, and the Warriors, without some of their main trips in the spine, they got the job over. The Cowboys done. I'm not sure if you boys tipped the Cowboys for an upset here or whatnot. I definitely tipped the Warriors, and I tipped them 13+. But, man, the Warriors, they look good this year. They've got something about that different vibe being back at home in New Zealand as well. So I'll pass it on to, Dave. So, did you expect the Warriors to come through without the injuries?
I did tip them 13+. I think personally the Cowboys are starting to get into their own heads, and I think they got really complacent at the start of preseason, especially after the year they did have last year, and it's showing. Their true colours are showing. I remember last year Lockie saying that the Cowboys would be a one-year wonder, and his point started to prove. And look, the Warriors really won this game because it started up front. I mean, their two starting props, Tavanga and Fanil Blake, really set the tone along with Tohu Harris and Josh Curran. I thought Sean Johnson was also outstanding. And for the Cowboys, I thought Val Holmes had a pretty good game. Although there were a few questionable calls, like playing bloody Jake Granville at prop. I don't know what Todd Payton was thinking there. But, it was a good game, and I was happy the Warriors won.
Yeah, for sure, mate. It's always a good game when the Warriors are winning. But I'll pass it to Lockie. So you've been highly enormous on the Cowboys' downfall this year. So do you still stand by that point? And how are the Warriors going for you, in your opinion? Can they make the 8 possibly?
Well, we'll start on the better club. I think the Warriors definitely can make the 8. I mean, their defense is nearly one of the best this year. I've never seen a Warriors club so together in defense on their goal line. There's the lower team should be looking at the Warriors for defensive structures. I mean, I haven't seen a Warriors team like this in a very long time, and I hope they make finals after the last couple of years they've had being away from their families. But moving on to the Cowboys, there's not much to say on them, to be honest. The club's a fucking joke. I've said this for years. I said this before the season. They're a one-year wonder. Everyone laughed at me. Oh, they're going to be there again. Well, where are they? No one's heard of them because they're putting Jake Granville at prop. So there must be somewhere in the shithole. I don't have much on, to be honest. Everything's fallen apart. The wheels are falling off. Todd Payton now's in press conferences throwing shade at the hammer. The wheels are falling off the wagon, and it's going to turn ugly very soon for that club if they don't turn shit around.
Yeah, completely, for sure. I agree with you there. And lastly, Noah, so the Cowboys, they've been slow to start 2023, but the Warriors, man, they've come out firing and all guns blazing. Did you see this coming from the Warriors?
I think all we have to do is go back to sort of the ladder prediction video we did in.
Right.
I'm not sure. It was February or it may have been early March.
It was somewhere in February, but I remember you did have the Warriors as a smoky for that. I think you had them in the 8, to be honest.
I had them 8th spot finishing the season.
Right.
I had the Warriors, but he's 16th.
I can't recall where I had them, but it must have been bottom 4, probably.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure you had them like 13th or 12th or something. But I've been very high on the Warriors since they've made all these signings. I mean, Tamari Martin, Dylan Walker, Both of those are pretty quality signings. I mean, they signed Chance Nickel-Klukstad back, that was a very underrated and gun signing. They've signed Mitch Barnett. They signed Murata Niokore. All of them were really great signings for the club, and it's what they needed. And I saw improvement coming. I didn't think they'd start the season this well, but I'm really happy for the Warriors fans and the Warriors club that they have started this well. And as for Cowboys, it's pretty much the opposite end. I tipped them to be minor premiers, and at the moment they're looking more like spoon contenders.
Did you have them in the grand final? Before I give my thoughts, did you have them in the grand final? Oh no! But look, can't get them all right. And look, as a Broncos fan, I'll be honest. I thought the Cowboys were generally building for the future. They'll be like the powerhouses of Queensland, but that hasn't been the case so far. I think what's wrong with the Cowboys is that they look so predictable, and I think they're not striving with being able to handle the pressure. I think they're being favourites every week. They expect us to win, make the top four. All this pressure. Last year they overachieved a lot. Like even if they probably chugged the top 8, like they probably were a past season no matter what, given how like they started the year with all that pressure to get the wooden spin and whatnot. But look, I think the Cowboys just need to take it game by game. The season's still not over, but if they lose to the Knights this week, they are possibly 2-6, right? So that's 8 rounds in. And honestly, they could have been without any wins so far. So look, for the Cowboys, it's about being able to apply the pressure and let Dearden control the game more.
Yeah, I think looking at the Cowboys, I think they have no excuse to be doing as bad as they're doing so far. They've had a few games at home. The injuries haven't been that bad. The suspensions probably have been, but they have the same squad on the park they had last year, minus Hammer and Gilbert. They have no reason to be doing as bad as they're doing right now. So that's worrying signs.
Do we still think Cowboys can make the 8?
I think they can make the 8, but if they do make the 8, it'll be like
they're not premiership favorites.
They won't make top 5.
Yep.
They're not top 6 contenders anymore.
Nah, definitely. I strongly believe the Cowboys will either fight for 8, and if things go wrong, horribly wrong, if they keep losing, they could honestly be in the fight for the wooden spoon. Do I think they're going to win it? No, but it's not out of question. Like the Tigers could come out at any time, and they're due for a win. So, yeah, the Cowboys not looking great, but I'll pass it back to Noah for the next game.
Yeah, cheers for us. So the next game, Saturday evening, Knights vs Panthers, game of the round, I reckon. Panthers just ended up winning the game by 1 point at McDonald Jones Stadium. Boys, I'll start off with Faraz. This game, there's a bit of controversy behind it. So before I ask your thoughts on the game itself, I want to ask the question. I'll ask this to the chat as well. I'll put a poll in. Do you see Golden Point as an unfair game? Because there's been talk in the media that it may be unfair because Panthers, they end up scoring off their first set. I don't quite see it as being unfair, but I wanted to get your thoughts.
Unfair at all.
In my honest thoughts, people need to get over it. That's the reality of sport. In life, you work hard for anything, but you end up coming short. Same here, Golden Point. The Knights, they have themselves to blame. Like, they played a mean game, and I do feel sorry for them. They should have won, but they didn't. And as a Broncos fan, I can speak the most here from, like, I can relate because my team suffered a Golden Point loss 6 years ago in the grand final, which I won't repeat again. But look, I think Golden Point is fair. Just because the Panthers won and now the media wants to be sooking and all that, doesn't mean it's right. Like, Golden Point, I think it's a perfect way to, like, split the game. Like, I'd rather someone get points than no one get points because in the end, it's still 2 teams. It can go either way. Like, you can get luck. It's just how sport is, and just not in just rugby, like in cricket and like in basketball, anything. That's just how the name goes. I think with Golden Point is that maybe what I would probably do is maybe make a Golden Point try maybe in regular season matches. So that way, instead of like getting luck and all that, you have to work for your points. But that's just my thoughts. I think Golden Point is fine the way it is. Look at that Panther set. They got their forwards into position. They got their main man into position. They got Cleary good field positions to kick the field goal. They've done it. That's on Newcastle for not stopping the defense. The line speed is not there. So that's on Newcastle for not getting there. Like, as much as I want to see the Knights win, and it breaks my heart because I don't like seeing the Panthers win once again, but that's just how it is. And credit to the Panthers. They're clearly doing something right. That's why they've been the benchmark of the comp for the last few years. So look, I think people need to stop complaining about it, in my honest opinion.
Yeah. Lockie and Davos, boys, do you see it as an unfair? I don't get it. I don't see how it's an unfair. Like, in my opinion, if you're not good enough to defend the first set in a Golden Point, then you don't deserve to win the game. It doesn't matter if you've been the better team in the first 80 minutes. If you can't defend the set that matters, you don't deserve to win. That's my thoughts on it. But we'll go to Davos next. What's your thoughts on it, Davos?
I think it's a good rule. The golden point rule. I think it's just complete rubbish. The media are talking just to get their clicks, but I just don't see any other way that they can decide a winner. Like literally, like this is probably the most fairest way. I mean, if like you said, like you and Faraz said, if you're not good enough to defend, then you don't deserve to win. And that's on the Knights, even though the Knights were probably the better team for 90% of the game. Like, they didn't come up when it mattered. And Nathan Cleary made them pay. So I think the media is just talking a load of shit and just trying to get clicks. So I think it's a good rule, the golden point rule.
Yeah, and Lockie, what's your thoughts on it?
The media is just playing their stupid game still. They do all this stuff when there's nothing to talk about. They try to pull things out of each other's asses that don't even make sense. Golden Point's been around for who knows how long, and all of a sudden now, because Penrith win in a controversial game, they think that Golden Point isn't fair. I mean, there's a coin toss for Golden Point. The winner gets to pick if they want to kick off or receive. That's how that happens. Can't tell me that's unfair. That's how the kickoff's determined. If you can't defend your first set, then you shouldn't be winning, should you?
Exactly, and I agree. But moving on from that, we'll get the thoughts on Panthers versus Knights, the actual game itself. Lockie, we'll start off with you this time. What's your thoughts on the game?
Tyson Gamble, he might have pre-cummed a little bit, to be honest. He kicked the field goal and thought he was a hero. So he learned his lesson the hard way there. Nathan Cleary put him a reality check. But the Knights have surprised me the most this year. They've showed class. They've showed determination. They've won games where they were probably down and out. And they're showing up for each other. Jaden Brayley, that's a huge loss for them with his knee. As we see this week, KP comes back. But, yeah, the Panthers, there was little mistakes in that game by the Knights that let the Panthers back in. And the Panthers of that team, they see a little mistake, they go for blood. And 90% of the time, they get there. So they'll learn a lot, the Knights. Panthers get the 2 points once again. As a Broncos fan, we don't like that because they're one game behind us still. But the Knights can take a lot of confidence out of that game regarding what happened.
Yeah. Davos, what about you? What's your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, I mean, Nathan Cleary is just proving why he's the best halfback in the game by a mile. And look, I feel for the Knights. I mean, they played really well and were probably the better team, but the Panthers came in clutch when they needed to. And for the Knights, I thought Tyson Gamble and Frizzell were very good for them. I thought Phoenix Crossland was really good. For the Panthers, I thought Isaiah Yeo, Nathan Cleary, Hosking were really, really good for them. But yeah, it's just one of those games where like you can be the better team for majority of the game, but if you don't show up in the big moments, you're going to pay the price, and that's what the Knights had to do against the Panthers. So yeah.
And Faraz, last but not least, what were your thoughts on the game?
Yeah, look, I just want to give a shout out to the Knights. Everyone's been talking about the Dolphins and the Warriors. I mean, the Knights have been playing some actual fun footy. Like, I've loved watching them play. They seem a new spirited side. Look, but this is the perfect match to define why the Panthers are still a classy side. These are the results that show that even when you're not playing your best, you still get the 2 points. I think what cost the Knights is not just the silly errors. I think Lockie Miller's boot. I think missing those first 2 conversions. I think the 8-0 lead looked friendly on the scoreboard and Penrith just capitalised. They weren't going to stay down for long. And Nathan Cleary, man, just take a bow. Iceman at its best. He can handle the pressure moments. I know a lot of people hate the Panthers and whatnot, but how can you not like this guy when at playing footy? We saw 2 weeks ago against Parramatta, he nearly stole it for them with that 2-pointer. He just nails those big moments. I think just for now, he needs to focus on Origin and maybe get an Origin Series victory. But look, I think for the Knights, they can take a lot of heart out of this. Look, they're going to be devastated, but it's important to back that performance up now because they are, I think, 2 points outside the 8. I think they're on 6 points. So look, they're playing a new style of footy. I think KP's back. That could arguably go really well for them. So look, I think bright signs for New Zealand. Sorry, for the Newcastle Knights going on.
Thank you, Faraz.
That wasn't this time.
It's a bit of deja vu here.
My phone's on silent.
I apologise for that.
I
But
just got flashbacks.
Got a bit of deja vu there to our last round review and tips video. You had to be there for it. We're not going to mention what it was. But thank you so much, Faraz, for that. Now, Lachlan, you can talk us through Saturday night's game, Titans vs Broncos.
Thanks, Darren Lockyer. I didn't know drums were banned at halftime, so I couldn't hear them in the second half. But for this one, it was a Broncos domination in the end. I mean, Titans started off quick as they always do. Philip Sammy got bit in the ass saying it was our house because that didn't end well, did it? The new saying for the Broncos is our fucking state, not our house. So, all in all, it was a Reece Lightning masterclass. Adam Reynolds was sensational. Jordan Ricky, most improved this year. You got to give it to him. He's been unreal. The people saying Kurt Capewell's not been great, you need to look at yourself because I think you're going delusional. But we'll hand it over to Davos for his thoughts. But an all-round good derby, I think, for a Broncos fan.
Yeah, well, I guess the Titans and their two fans couldn't celebrate because it was just a Broncos domination. Reece Walsh, how good's this man? Literally, he's fantastic. Probably going to win. I hope he wins fullback of the year, but we've got to put a lid on it because it's only 8 weeks in. Payne Haas, the best prop of all time. I don't care what anyone says. He's the best prop of all time. Adam Reynolds was absolutely terrific. Jordan Ricky, like Lockie said, has been awesome. Pat Carrigan's he's been sensational. And yeah, there's not much to say. I'm so happy for all the Broncos fans, and I'm happy that the Broncos are doing well because the NRL is a lot better when the Broncos are doing well.
Yeah, we'll hand it over to Noah for his thoughts on this game. You must be happy being a Broncos fan. It's pretty sweet getting up on the Titans with how much chat those fans put up on their Instagram stories all day.
BKR, I'm calling you. No, I'm just joking. I'm joking. But honestly, great game. Fucking loved it. My goodness, what a roller coaster of emotions it was, though. At one point, it looked like we were going to be down. I think it was 14-6 at halftime. Then, luckily enough for us, Marty Tapau, he did what he needed to do. Reece Walsh with the charge down first was a big turning point. Marty Tapau got the ball straight to Herbie, and that's what we needed in that moment. And from there, it was just Broncos dominance. Very happy with the game. Very happy with how the Broncos went. I think the score did me over a little bit because I'm thinking it's not an exact score you'd see usually. But I mean, Broncos dominated, and that's all I care about. And top of the table, baby, doesn't get any better.
Yeah, Faraz, the chirpiest of the bunch in a group chat with the Broncos are playing. What was your thoughts?
No, mate, look, love getting the victory over the Titans. Once again, reminding them who's the king of Queensland. Man, look, I am a Broncos fan, and other than that being a rivalry, I was happy with the win, but I'm still concerned about this. Like the silly errors, the scoreline. The scoreline sort of pisses me off because, I think they scored when they had a man down in the bin. We made 15 errors, more than last week as well. So, look, as much as we're winning right now, and I take it, I'm happy, but we got to be better than what we showed on Saturday. The score should have easily been 50 points to 18. I'm not just saying that for the sake of it. We should have really blown them away, but we let 2 soft tries in at the end. It's just sort of frustrating because I know what this side can do and they can be better, but I think from now is their real test. They've got the Parramatta Eels at Darwin. Eels do good at Darwin, then they've got the Rabbitohs and Manly. So this is now their time to not muck up. They got to stop making silly errors. They got to stop giving away silly penalties. And I just think the Broncos have a lot left in them, which is scary to think about. Reece Walsh is on fire. Manny makes his side look better. For those saying that he was going to be the worst signing for the club, that we played better with him, who's laughing now? Cobbo, not a lot of people are talking about it. I just don't think Cobbo looks 100% at all right now. I'm not saying he's been bad at all, but a few silly errors. He hasn't looked to be getting involved a lot. I think Flegler will be a big in as well this week. I think good to have Corey Oates back as well. Jesse Arthurs, I must say, I feel bad for him. He's doing a great job. But, yeah, look, the Broncos got the job done, but they got to be better than that, man. And I'm pretty sure all of us can agree that that scoreline should have never happened in the end.
Brief question. Keep your answer brief, fair or unfair, and just a little reason. But was the Tino sin bin fair or unfair, do you believe? We'll start with Noah first.
Fair. And this is not biased talking. I'm going to give just the shortest reason possible. Tino was caught offside. He kept trying to go at Mam. And then once man was tackled by David Fafita, Tino came over the top and pushed him over. We've seen it been sin bins before. Titans fans are just sooks.
Raz?
Yeah, I think it's fair because Tino also had this like last week. He got a warning, and like he got like sin bin not just for the second effort, but he was sin bin for 3 different occasions for the infringements. He blocked Ezra Mann's run twice and then committed to the second effort. So look, it is harsh, but that's the rules, man. And Tino clearly breached it, and he knew it, and that's why he didn't even have a sook about it on the field. So fair in my case.
Well, I mean, the Broncos did have 14 players on their team because we did have Khan Pereira playing a ball in a tackle that wasn't even made. So we'll ask Davos, fair or unfair.
Look, I think it was fair. Even Tino himself admitted that it was after the game he took accountability, which I thought was really mature of him. He could have easily just gone off about it, but he did the right thing and took ownership of his actions. Yeah, like I'm gonna have to second what Noah and Faraz said. I don't really need to go on about it because I'll just be repeating myself. But yeah, I definitely agree it was fair.
Yeah. I'll hand it over to you now, Davos, for Sunday footy.
Yeah, so we have the Dragons. They went up to Canberra and took on the Raiders. The Raiders coming away with the chocolates. I personally watched this game. It was a boring first half as no team scored, but after that, the game really started to open up. In my opinion, I thought the man of the match was Sebastian Kris. I thought he was absolutely outstanding at fullback. I also thought Hudson Young was brilliant, but it was kind of a boring game, to be honest. Like, it was probably if not the worst game, probably the second worst game. For the Dragons, I honestly thought that Moga was really good, scoring 2 tries. I thought their forward pack was actually solid. Like, Sewer was good, Bird was good, Laurie was good. But the Dragons just, I don't know, they're just a weird team, man. Like, they're probably just the definition of bipolar along with the Raiders. But I'll go to Faraz first. What were your thoughts on the game?
I'll keep this nice and simple. It was a snooze fest. And I think that game really defines where both teams will be at. I think the Raiders, they'll take the win, but they have to be better than what they showed. And they can be better. They showed that win against the Broncos that they've got Mongrel inside. I'm happy to see Croker back, but, man, this game was a big snooze fest. The Dragons had a lot of chances towards the end, but their attack is just so boring. They rely a lot of Ben Hunt possession. But, yeah, it wasn't the best game to watch, and I'm just going to, leave it to the next man to talk about it.
I agree with that. Noah, we'll get your opinions on this game. It was a snooze fest. What were your thoughts on it? Yeah, we can't hear you, Noah.
My bad, boys. That's 2 blunders from me so far. Strike 2. Sorry. I was saying, pretty much what Faraz said. It was a snooze fest. Wasn't good footy to watch. A bit error-riddled, and honestly, I don't think either team deserved 2 points, but there has to be a winner. Raiders lucky to get away with it.
Last but not least, we've got Lachlan. What were your thoughts on the game, mate?
I think the Raiders are getting a bit hard done by everyone calling Hudson Young the hero. I mean, I would say Sebastian Kris played a better game than Hudson Young, but no one's going to talk about that. To be honest, I see Sebastian Kris going to the wing for Nick Kotrick and Xavier Savage to go to fullback. I don't see Nick Kotrick getting back into this team, to be honest. You can't leave Sebastian Kris out, and if Ricky does, he might be going where Hook is because who knows what.
We got a dog.
I agree with the Sebastian Kris call. I think he's got huge potential. I met him down here in Melbourne. He's a terrific bloke.
Even at centre, he's been good for the Raiders from last year.
For sure.
It's because of the rat's tail.
Yeah. Got to get rid of that. We'll pass it over to Faraz now because I know he loves talking about both of these teams, even though he hates them. So, Faraz, we'll pass it over to you now, mate.
Yeah, we'll head to the last game of the round, and look, it looked like it was going to be a blockbuster, but unfortunately not. The Eels taking a depleted Bulldogs side at CommBank. The Eels win 30 points to 4. I'll hand it to Lockie first. What do you make of this game? Obviously, the Bulldogs, they're suffering a lot of injuries at the moment. Is there any way back for them at this point?
To be honest, I didn't watch a lot of this game. I did watch the highlights, though. The Bulldogs, I mean, people can start calling them pretenders. I reckon you can be pretty confident in that. I think that, but again, you call pretenders, but the troops they've lost and they're losing, you can't win comps with the injury list they have. And as shit as that is, because that's the game that we play, injuries are in it. There's just a few things that aren't going right in the defense and the attack. They just look a bit clunky here and there. I think Burton's doing okay. I think he's getting a bit overhyped. Reed Marnie's probably the defense guy that everyone needs to look at. But then you look at the Eels, and they're going to be there again this year. I think they're coming into their form. Moses and Dylan Brown turned it on. Gutho, funny how he pulls some good games together. The X Factor queries have left the precinct and the media side of things. So it'll be interesting to see with that. But I thought, man of the match, Will Penasini, I thought he was unreal at centre. The kid's a freak. He's going to be one to watch. And as Sharksy says in the chat, write us off. We're nowhere near the 8. So that's from a Bulldogs fan. So their players must have as much faith as their fans do as well.
Yeah, for sure, mate. I think just before I pass it on to the next man, I will give my honest thoughts. I am not the biggest fan of the Bulldogs by any mean or any stretch, and I hope they do fail. But, man, they've suffered a lot. They've got, 10 to 11 players out from the top 30 squad. How can you just deal with that? I don't know who they can call up. They might need to get some loan players for sure. But, yeah, look, the Bulldogs, what looked to be a promising year, another rebuilding year for the club, they could potentially make the 8, has been scrapped like that. I'll be honest, them and the Tigers, for me, I've already ruled out for finals. I just think the Bulldogs have too many injuries to overcome. For the Eels, yes, they did come back into form, and they got the 2 points, no doubt. But was it really that convincing? And I know it's a phrase that we keep using a lot, but they probably should have put 50 on them. They had a great chance, especially considering they were last year's grand finals at home. But up to you, Noah. What do you make of this game? Are the Eels back?
Not convinced yet. Not convinced. The Eels' last 2 wins have come against a very depleted Bulldogs side and a Tigers side who had no confidence, and they still nearly lost to the Tigers. Yeah, I was there at the Tigers game. Obviously, I was cheering on Tigers in that one. Don't like the Eels very much at all. But, yeah, I just still don't believe the Eels are back. I mean, they always get up for a battle against Penrith, and I think that was their first win of the season. They end up losing to the Roosters in a game which the Roosters lost to Tedesco in the first couple of minutes. They were very lucky to scrape a win against the Tigers. And last week, obviously, a very depleted Bulldogs side. Any team that has Jade Knockenbauer on the wing is bound to lose. So, for me... Sorry?
Mate. No, sorry. You got it, mate.
Yeah, for me, this week's their real test. If they can beat my Brisbane Broncos in Darwin, I'm ready to declare they're back. But they haven't shown me enough yet for me to say that.
Yeah, look, for sure. The Eels, they're a tough side to read. I wouldn't be surprised if they win their next 3 in a row. But is that everyone I've covered?
Not Davos here, I don't think.
Oh, sorry, Davos. Nah.
Racism.
Racism.
I love you, mate. Look, Dave,
so good,
honest
mate.
thoughts. Do you think the Bulldogs are affected by injuries? Can they still make the 8?
I think they still can make the 8. I mean, obviously, it sucks with the injuries that they have. Obviously, I think the game changed when Averillo did his leg. I mean, I think the Bulldogs are a little bit dumb in the head, considering he was literally on one leg, and they still put him out on the field.
But to be fair, on their case, they were losing a lot. They already lost Kiraz as well, so they had no one on the outside back. They had a huge gap. So I guess they had to deal with it.
That is a good point. But I think the game changed when he got injured and Kiraz got injured. Look, I'm going to declare something, and you boys are going to probably agree with me. I think Flanagan needs to go. As much as I love Flanagan, I think he needs to go. I just think he offers nothing in attack, and their attacks it's basically Burden trying to create everything while Flanagan just sits back and just on that right side. I was watching the game, and every time Marnie would go to Burden, and I think Marnie was playing for the Eels, mate, because Marnie was just doing some dumb shit. But Burden's trying to create everything, and I can see the pressure that Burden's under. And Sharksy's saying in the chat, I want Carl Olapu in there because I don't know if I pronounce that.
So that statement right there, Dave, so I'll throw this question to you boys. Do you think someone maybe like a Carl Olapu or Josh Reynolds has to come to the side? I'll ask Lockie first. What do you think, mate?
I think Carl needs to go there. Because have you seen Carl in reserve grade? He's literally tearing it up, and the bloke's 18.
Yeah, but like as much people say, oh, they're killing it in reserve grade. When you go reserve grade to the NRL, it's a completely different. Like it's
but this bloke.
it's
this
like going
guy-
from
I
under
agree.
12s to A grade.
I agree. Although Carl is like he's highly touted as like, and I get
For
that.
me
like,
though, personally, I'm probably putting Avarillo back in the halves before him. To be honest,
no, Avarillo's a centre. He's
In
either
my
a centre
personal
or-
but people said Avarillo's a fullback.
That's
yeah,
true.
he was good at fullback. He's good at fullback. I mean,
That is
Hayes
true,
Perns-
I think with the situation with the Bulldogs right now, I would have to probably keep the team. Not because like they've got no choice, guys. Like they're gonna probably put another rookie in. Josh Reynolds doesn't seem like it as well in a starting side. They have to probably stick with Flanagan. As much as I hate saying, because I don't think he offers anything to the Dogs. They've got so many injuries already. They can't just put rookies like that. It's going to hamper their season even more. You don't want Carl Olapawatu coming against the high-flying Sharks with a Nico Hines left side. So, yeah, I would keep the team. So, but what about you, Noah? Do you think the Dogs have to make changes?
no, we can't.
Strike three.
No, it's gone, mate.
Fuck. I feel
Mate, I'll smack you
sorry.
enough in cricket. Mate, your head's not working. I've already smacked you enough. Your head's not working.
mate, one ball over my head is not.
Mate, look at the
smacking me
size of his
in
head. You won't miss it.
Oh my. No, sorry, boys. Sorry. As I was saying, I think the Bulldogs do need a bit of a change up. I think Flanagan moving to 6 this week is a big telling point. I think he might drop out of the side. I
He's
wouldn't
gonna
be
drop out, I
surprised. I wouldn't be surprised if Reynolds comes into the 6 jersey sometime soon. And if not him, I wouldn't be surprised if it's Carl Oluwapu or I think there's some. Is it? I can't remember his name. Is it Rajab or something?
No, they released him. So the
Khalid
thing about
Rajab.
that-
Yeah.
So the thing about that is
Garrett
that they had one spot left in their top 30 roster, and they had to choose between Rajab and Josh Reynolds, and they gave it to Josh Reynolds. So Khaled's side of it.
Okay,
They're
well,
probably
in my
regretting
opinion,
that.
in
He's
my
a good
opinion,
player.
In
Reynolds
my
or
opinion, they're
Oluwapu.
regretting that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyhow, with that being said and done, the Bulldogs, we just wish them well. Hopefully they come back. It's better when the Bulldogs are doing well, their fans are passionate as. But yeah, I heard it back to Noah to host back again.
Okay, yeah. Before we move on to the tips for this week, we'll do a quick ladder update at the end of round 7. So Broncos, they're on top with 12 points and a positive for and against of 86. Panthers, they're on 10 points with a positive for and against of 78. Warriors, they're 10 points, positive 16. Seagulls, they're on 9 points with positive 6. Rabbitohs, 8 points with positive 50 after a couple big wins, very big wins. The Sharks, they're on 8 with positive 31. Storm, they're on 8 as well, positive 16. Dolphins, they're on 8, but their for and against has gone down to negative 12. Roosters as well on 8, negative 22. Titans on 8 with negative 25. The Knights, they're on 7 with negative 3. The Eels, after a couple wins, last week was a big win for them. They're on 6 points with positive 13. The Dragons, 6 points, negative 22. The Raiders, 6 points, negative 42. The Bulldogs, 6 points with negative 68. The Cowboys, they're second last at the moment with 4 points, negative 32. And the Tigers, it's actually been updated. They're on 2 points after the bye with negative 70. But with that said and done, we'll move on to the next part of this video, the round tips. We'll try and go through this pretty quickly. So we'll host in the same order. I'll start Thursday night. And just a quick warning, controversial tips ahead. But Thursday night, boys, Rabbitohs versus Panthers. Just give me a quick tip and a quick summary on it. Start off with Lockie.
I've got Panthers. I've got Panthers 1-12. I think it'll be a close game. First half will be tight, I think. Second half, the Panthers might blow it out a little bit more. I've got Brian Tyler double.
Absolutely awesome. Davos, what about you?
I've got Panthers 1-12. Panthers have had the wood over the Rabbitohs for a while now. And I've got Tyre for a try.
Absolutely awesome. Faraz, what about you?
Yeah, I'm actually going to go Panthers, but Panthers winning plus. I think they've got the ball in the bun here. They'll win by 14. I reckon Panthers 28 points to 14. I think they'll just be too good for the Rabbitohs.
Absolutely awesome. For me, myself, I think I'm the only person tipping the Rabbitohs here. I don't know. I just have a good feeling about the Rabbitohs. I'm going to go Trell Mitt anytime try scorer for that
Do you
game.
consider that controversial?
I wouldn't say it's too controversial. I think both
I think they're a
teams
good
are on
chance, though.
the same points. Yeah. But Lachlan, take us through Friday night.
Yeah, Eels Broncos in Darwin. It's going to be hot. It's going to be humid. So the fitness will come into this game. The ball's going to be slippery as well. So Broncos have the most errors in the comp, so they're going to have to pull it together a bit for this one. My tip to start with, I've actually got Broncos 13 plus. I think they'll pull a masterclass together here. Reece Walsh will score, Ezra Mann will score, and I think the captain is due for one, and maybe a chip and chase over the line, 10 metres out.
Fantastic.
But we'll go with Davos for this one.
Yeah, I've got the Broncos 13 plus. I think the last few times Eels have played in Darwin, they've got absolutely pumped. Last year they played Cowboys in Darwin, got pumped by 31. I've got Corey Oates on his comeback for a double.
Very nice. I think Big Gary, will he be on SIVO? Or will he be
Dunster, I think.
he's got the height advantage. We'll go to Faraz next.
Yeah, I'm going to go the Eels 13 plus here at Darwin. I don't know. I'm just going to go the Eels 13 plus. I think they'll be too good for the Broncos. I think they're in great form at the moment. I think the Broncos then, I'm telling you, territory.
I was doing that.
Sorry, boys, go ahead. Faraz has gone to the bin for the rest of the show.
I was sending him. I said,
think
to,
he's
I was like, that's just send him to the bin.
But
But have you got your prediction, Noel?
Okay, continue on Faraz. Your internet cut out. Sorry.
No, look, I'm going to go the Eels 1 to 12 here. I'm not going to go them 13 plus and just joking about that. But I think the Eels at Darwin. I don't know. I just don't trust the Broncos in Darwin. They haven't played there before much. I think the Eels have won like 6 out of the last 8. The Broncos are due for a loss, in my opinion. I'm going to go the Eels by 4. And I reckon, and regardless, I'm still going to go Corey's double. Good to see him back.
Fair enough. Noah, I hope you don't have Eels.
And I hope I'm not muted, but no, I've got Broncos 13 plus. I'm going to go Corey Oates for a hat trick on return. I don't know, just not convinced by the Eels yet. They haven't showed me anything to tip them yet.
Davos.
Yeah, so we're moving on to Saturday evening. We've got the Doggies taking on the Sharks. I will start off with myself. This is a pretty simple one for me. I've got Sharks 13 plus. The form the Sharks are in, and the Doggies are decimated with injuries. I can't really see a game where the Doggies are in this, to be honest. But I'll go to Faraz. What are your thoughts on this game, mate? And who you got winning?
Yeah, I actually want the Bulldogs to win, but truth is Sharks will be too good for them. Sharks by 34. Let's go Nico Hines double.
Noah, what are your thoughts on the game?
I'm going to go the Sharks to win this one 13 plus. And I'm going to go Ronaldo Mulatala. I think he's been named. He's going to get 2 tries. I'm going to go Sione Katoa for 2 tries as well.
I like that. And last but not least, Lockie. Who have you got?
Yeah, I've got Sharks 13 plus. I think if you're a punter like myself, I am up quite a bit of money in the past couple of weeks, so you can ride with me a little bit on this. But I think every week Niokora is nearly a lock for any time. I think Nico Hines playing that short ball about 5 out from the line. I think Niokora could get 1 or 2 this week, so I would put him in a same game multi if I was you.
But I'll pass it over to Faraz now.
Yeah, so we go to Saturday night at Townsville. So we've got this Cowboys up against the Knights. This is a tough one to tip, but I'll go to Lockie first. Who you got in this match?
I've got Newcastle. I think everyone probably could have picked that, but I just think the amount of lack of confidence that the Cowboys would have at the moment with how they're playing, and the confidence the Knights would have, even coming off a loss, they lost by a point to Penrith, and they've got troops out. So I've got Knights in a close one. I think Knights by about 2 to 4 points. And we'll actually go Kalen Ponga on return for a try.
Yeah, look, I don't know if you guys are gonna agree with me or not, but let's go Newcastle 13 plus. I'm just so impressed by the way they're playing right now. The Cowboys are in shambles. I mean, the Warriors did it to them back in Townsville, so why can't the Knights do it? I think the Knights win comfortably. I think they're going to win 30 points to 16. And I reckon Lockie Miller for a double. Yeah, but I head to Noah. So who you got in this game?
I'm going to go the Knights 1-12. I've actually got them by 10 in the tipping app. Again, the Cowboys just haven't shown me anything this season. They don't deserve to have my tip this week, and that's why they're not going to. The Knights, they've shown resilience, and I think they'll be resilient this week. They'll hold out the Cowboys. So, yeah, Knights 1-12, and any time, I'm going to go Lockie Miller.
Yeah, that's totally fair. Davis, what about you? Are you going to go the Cowboys or?
No, I'm going the Knights, and I'm going to go Knights 1-12. I'm very happy to see Callum Ponga back. Let's hope he doesn't get knocked out in the first 2 minutes, but I'm just so stoked for the bloke, and I'm going to go him for a double.
Yeah, but I'll pass it on to the next man for this.
Yeah, so that would be me. Dolphins versus Titans, Suncorp Stadium. This should be a pretty good game because I'm not sure. I have a feeling Titans will want to prove they're not the little brother to the Dolphins, and the Dolphins will want to prove that they're much better than the Titans, which they should do that. Lads, I'll start us off quickly. I've got Dolphins 13 plus. I'm going to go Jermaine Zarko, anytime try scorer. But we'll go to Faraz next. Faraz, what's your tip for this game?
I'm actually going to go Titans 13 plus. I think they've got a lot of attack in them. I know Confucius is back, but Titans, man, they've already lost to the Cowboys and Broncos. Surely they don't lose to another Queensland team. I'm going to go Titans 36 points to 20. I think there'll be a lot of points on this, and I reckon, is AJ back yet?
No, he's listed in the reserves, so he might make a return, but I think they'll leave him out one more week.
Well, we'll just go with Jojo Fafita to score one. I'm keen to see him back. They've got some exciting backs to Titans.
Awesome. Lockie, what about you? What's your tips?
I've got Dolphins 1-12. I think Titans will be up for this one. We said that last week. But yes, fins up, as Leach says in the chat. But Dolphins 1-12. If you're jumping on this game as well on the punt, Khan Pereira for the Titans is nearly a guaranteed try every week. And I think for the Dolphins, Finn Diesel's back. Good old Felice Kafusi. So I think he'll barge over for one as well.
Love that. And last but not least, Dave, let's talk us through it. Who've you got? Who've you tipped? Anytime.
I've got fins up, baby. I've got the Dolphins 1-12.
How dare you?
Just for this week because I don't want Titans and their two fans celebrating. But yeah, I got the Dolphins 1-12. I've got the Hammer going over for a try.
That's a really good pick. Hamisa Tabuai-Fidow, as much as I was going for South Sydney last week, I was willing him over that he would score last week in that game to sort of become the first player to ever score. I think, in 7 consecutive games for a new club. Now, Saturday evening, Lachlan will be leading us through this one.
Yeah, Saturday night footy, or it could be the middle game.
Sorry, it's Sunday night. I've just absolutely butchered that. Sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Go ahead.
They'll change up.
Another L from Noah?
Yeah, because Anzac Day and stuff.
Yeah. So Sunday, 4:05, sorry. We've got Tigers, Manly. This could be an absolute bloodbath if Manly pull out their best team. I've got Manly 13 plus. I think Jason Saab will score and Oluwatu will score. But for Tigers, keep your eye on their new fullback. He's a youngster. He's a young gun. So watch him. But we'll go to Davos first for his tip.
This is a very, very simple tip. Manly 13 plus, and I've got DCE going over for a double. I know DC loves playing the Tigers. I think a couple of years ago he scored a hat trick against them.
Who doesn't love playing the Tigers?
What'd you say?
Who doesn't love playing the Tigers, mate?
Not the Broncos. They can't even get 50 on them.
That's true.
It's all good. I mean, I just can't see a place where the Tigers win this, but yeah.
Faraz, before you go on your tip, do you see any hope of Tigers maybe somewhat pulling up for this game?
I'm not sure what I can base it off, but this is a danger game for Manly, I would say. I am going to still tip Manly 13 plus. The way they beat the Storm, they're going to be on like cloud nine at the moment. It is at Campbelltown, but the Tigers have not shown enough for me. They are off the bye, but Manly 13 plus. Playing it simple and safe.
And anytime?
Anytime I've got Ruben Garrick to crash over.
Yeah, Ruben Garrick's basically every week. Noah, your thoughts? You going Tigers 13 plus?
I'm actually going to go Tigers. I'm actually going to go Tigers 1-12.
Stop.
I have a soft
Stop
spot for the
it.
Tigers. They showed me something the last time they played.
Mate, use
I'm
your
going to go
head,
Junior
not your
Tuvo
heart.
anytime and Tom Trbojevic anytime.
Use your head, not your heart.
We'll come back here the next round review and we'll see who's right. Okay.
I will
Will you
pay
jump
you
off?
$5
Will you jump?
if the Tigers win.
Okay. No, will you jump off a cliff if Tigers
No,
win?
because
No,
if
I
I
will
say
pay
that's
you-
not
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
happen-
yeah, yeah.
If I say
If
that's
the
not gonna
Tigers win,
happen-
I'm paying Noah $5. Save
Okay,
that.
thanks, bros. My
Actually,
goodness.
I'm going to go on Sportsbet right now and have a look at the odds of this game.
Tigers are paying $3.13.
And Manly are $1.37.
130. Yeah,
I mean,
$1.37.
$3.50 is
Not so bad. That's
Like-
juicy odds.
That's not bad value.
Right, any team with Luke Brooks in it's not gonna win. So.
But to be fair, though, I don't like how they're making changes, though. They're bench, bro. They've got 2 forwards in there, 12. Not starting, I'm not sure.
And they got
Sean
2
Ward's been knocked
backs.
out. There's not. They're ruining it for themselves, man. They're
Mate,
making it harder.
Hey,
David Clemmer's puffing off a decoy line. They're rooted.
right, Tim
No,
Sheens
I-
straight into bloody Buzz Rothfield at the minute.
Man, Benji Marshall beat 18th man soon.
Faraz has just
Oh.
left. Mate, Faraz, what are you doing?
Mate, get Benji and Robbie Farah back in the team. Maybe they'll provide some hope.
Go ahead, Davos. You're leading us through this one.
I will take over this game. For the first game on Anzac Day, we have got the Roosters taking on the Dragons. Now, before I go into tips, the big news: Sam Walker has been dropped from the Roosters. I want to get your opinions on it. I'll go to Lockie first. Lockie, do you believe that Sam Walker has been hard done by Trent Robertson?
We know Sam Walker is a young player. Everyone knows this. Trent Robinson seems to have once every year, it seems now, he has this little period where he doesn't like Sam Walker and decides to drop him, but then he'll be back in 4 weeks' time. So I think it's a lesson for Sam Walker that he'll have to learn, but he'll come back in the team. There's no doubt about it. I mean, he's a young gun. Everyone loves Sam Walker. I think it's the wrong call from Robbo, but I can see the reasons behind it.
And we'll go to Noah next. Noah, do you believe it was fair or unfair for Walker to be dropped?
It wasn't fair. He's been the better half out of him and Kiri so far. And the fact he's getting dropped and Kiri's been moved to 7, I think it was all off the back of last week. I think he missed 8 tackles from made 30, missed 8. But to be fair, what Roosters player actually played well last week? Victor Radley's getting picked for the team every week, and he gets sin binned every week. So I think it's a little bit unfair on young Walker. Honestly, should just leave the Roosters at this point. Trent Robinson clearly favours. He wants to have Joey Manu at 6 by the look of it, and I don't blame him for that. But he clearly favours Fury and Hutchinson. I'm not sure how Hutchinson gets on the bench and Sam Walker does. They practically do the
Yeah, I mean, for my opinion, I don't believe that Sam Walker should be dropped. I feel like if any player should be dropped, it should be Luke Keary and it should be Victor Radley, because Luke Keary offers absolutely nothing anymore, and Victor Radley just gets sin binned because he's just has fucking brain fades every 5 seconds. But anyways, we'll go on to tips. I'll start off. I've got the Roosters 1-12. I'm not confident that they'll blow out the Dragons, but I do think the Dragons will be up for it, considering it's Anzac Day and it's a day that we should all celebrate and acknowledge the people who came before us. But I will get Lachlan's opinion. Lachlan, who do you have winning this game? Who's your anytime try scorer?
First of all, this round gets the goosebumps going for everyone. I mean, it's as an Australian, It's one of the most proudest rounds that you can be of in the NRL calendar. It's a great spectacle. We know the Roosters and Dragons, they fight to the end in this one. We've seen many great clashes over the years for the Roosters and Dragons game. But for this one, I think the Chooks will get him. I'm expecting a Ben Hunt masterclass. I think he's going to pull one of his greats out of this one. But I've got Roosters. I'm going to go 1-12, and any time we will go Daniel Tupou.
I like it. No, we'll get your opinions on it.
For me, firstly, I want to say pretty much exactly what Lachlan said. This is a round that every Australian is proud of, Anzac round, and it's great that it happens in the game. I don't know. I'm really torn up between this game because I looked. I think there was a post posted by one of some account that I follow a lot. Rugby League since 1908. He's a great page. I recommend you check him out. I think he had the results of every Anzac clash between the Roosters and Dragons over the years, and the Dragons have actually won more clashes over the years. And in recent time, it's actually been pretty close. It's not exactly been favoured to the Roosters, which I thought it was. So for me, I think I'm going to go. I'm going to go Roosters, but it's very like I'm not sure. Roosters 1-12. I think it's going to maybe be 2 points. Anytime try score, I'm going to agree with Lockie. I'm going to go Daniel Tupou.
I like it. As Fraz has joined us back, Fraz, what are your opinions on this game and who you think will come out on top?
Yeah, I think the Roosters will win, no doubt, but I think it'll be closer than what people expect. It's on Anzac Day. The Dragons will be up for it. They have to be up for it. It's Hook's line, jobs on the line. I think the Roosters win by 8. I reckon Joey Manu anytime, and I reckon Ben Hunt crossover for the Dragons. But I reckon the Dragons will be leading at halftime, but Roosters still come back and win it.
I like it. I'll pass it over to you now, mate, to take the Storm versus Warriors.
Yeah, so we've got the Storm taking on the Warriors in our last match of the round for Anzac Day. Noah, who you got in this game? Are we going to see another upset, or will the Storm be too good?
Warriors. Sorry, Davos. I know. Obviously, it's your team. I just think Warriors are too red hot at the moment to not tip them in this game. They're priced at $3.21, which I think is an absolute war crime. I'm not sure how the Warriors, who are in third place and have been playing really good against the top teams, are at $3.21, and the Storm, who last week produced a shit show, are at $1.35. If you're a punter, I would say put some money on the Warriors, I reckon, in this one. $3.21, that's pretty good odds. It's a good price for them. But yeah, for me, I'm going to go Warriors. I'm going to go Warriors by 14. I'm going to go Warriors 13 plus. And anytime try scorer, I'm going to go with Sean Johnson to nab himself a try, and I'm going to go Dallin Watene-Zelezniak.
Yeah, that's fair. Some bold calls there from Noah, but I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to go the Storm, but by 2 points. I think the Warriors will give it a red-hot crack, but I think Melbourne will want to get back to winning ways. I think Melbourne will just edge them out. I reckon Melbourne 22 points to 20. I reckon Edward Cossey to cross over for the first round of the match, and I reckon Munster to grab one for the Storm. Yeah, I just think the Storm will edge them out, but wouldn't be surprised if the Warriors win. They're different gravy this year. But what about you, Lockie? Are the Warriors on for an upset, or will the Storm just hang on?
I think the Storm will get home in this one. I think it'll be close. The Warriors, they're probably the dark horse of the round that you could probably put your money on. They're going to push Melbourne to the limits in this one, and Munster and Hughes are going to be on it. They're going to have to be on their best. It's just like the Warriors' defense doesn't bother me now. It's their attack where they're going to struggle, I think. I've got Storm 1-12. Anytime try scorer. Sorry, let me just get up the team really quick. We'll go Big X. Big X for a double.
Yeah, that's fair. Like, yeah, I'm expecting a great game, but we'll pass it over to the number one Storm fan here with Davos. Are the Storm going to win, or will the Warriors create havoc and finally break the losing streak against the Storm?
First of all, I want to say to Noah, I actually do not blame you for going for the Warriors. I mean, they've been terrific this year. I do have the Storm 1-12. Let's hope it's not a bloody 16-10 at halftime, and then we win by what was like 54. Actually no, 56. Sorry. What the fuck? I can't do my maths. It was bloody 60. Oh my god. Might need to go back to prep there, but yeah, I've got the Storm 1-12. I have got Nick Meaney going for a double on his return.
Yeah, he's been good in Pappy's absence. To be
He's been
fair.
terrific, Meaney.
But I've also got a question for you boys. If the Storm were to win this and win it well, would it be a disappointing result for the Warriors? And would it expose them or not really? Because it's a big occasion for them. So
It's a big occasion that they should be standing up.
Lockie, do you think this is a game where the Warriors have to, even if they lose, do they have to like put up a fight at least to show that they're really here?
I think it's not even like them just being a game where they want to put up a fight. I think it's the occasion where they'll put up a fight. There's nothing more embarrassing. Was it last year or the year before they lost 70?
Last year, 70 points to 10.
Yeah. Like representing their New Zealand people in the Anzacs, they would have felt embarrassed by just that. I mean, coming back this year, they're going to be up for the occasion. They know what's coming. I think the Storm are going to be a bit shell shocked because they don't know what's going to come.
This is their best chance.
If I'm a punter, I'm throwing $5 on the Warriors. To be honest,
If this was in New Zealand, I would have gone the Warriors, but I think Melbourne just edged them out. But Dave, is this a danger game for the Storm?
I think it is a danger game for the Storm. I mean, if we don't show up against the Warriors, they'll put us to the sword. They're a quality team, and if we do lose, I wouldn't hit the panic button yet, but it would definitely show where the Storm are at, and that probably a lot of people predicted us to fall down the ladder. Look, I know we've got our injuries, but we can't use that as an excuse. Look at the Bulldogs; they have injuries. Look at South Sydney; they have injuries. Everyone has injuries, so we can't use injuries as an excuse. So,
yeah, no, that's a fair point you make. I'll ask Noah quickly. You've tipped the Warriors 13+, so you've got the Warriors on the upset, but you've tipped them 13+. What's made you so confident that they'll go down to Melbourne and win 13+?
Just the quality of football they've been playing, honestly. They've been playing with a real quality of football. Sean Johnson's return to a form we haven't seen from him probably since he left the Sharks.
Right.
I think they've got the at the moment they've got a spine there that's really clicking. Sadly, no Wade Egan this week, and Wade Egan's been missing a couple games.
he's been crushing.
Every game he's played and he's scored a try. Wade Egan, he's been a great hooker so far. Obviously, they're missing Tamari Martin as well, their first choice 5'8", but Dylan Walker killed it last week. Absolutely wrapped up Nanai every time he touched the ball. So,
Right.
Yeah, for me, I think New Zealand are more of a quality side at the moment, and I think Storm. It's mainly just like Dave said. You can't really you can't say injuries, and you can't use an excuse. But to be fair, Storm do have a lot of injuries, so that's why I don't see them winning.
Personally, for me, though, I'm just loving Sean Johnson's energy, and we know what Sean Johnson can do, but I'm not saying he's probably at the best form of his life, but he seems to be enjoying footy the most. Like, the energy, like the way he's speaking to the press conference after, like the way he's handling his business, like, he just looks so, like, determined to take this Warriors back to the finals. I'm just loving that energy, and as a Broncos fan myself, like, I'm just loving what the Warriors are doing at the moment. They've sacrificed a lot for the game. Seeing them do it the way they are, I'm just hoping they keep it up and make the top 8. But go back to Noah to finish this off.
Yeah. Now, before we finish off, I only have one piece of news I want to announce for tonight. Hamisa Tabuai-Fidow has officially extended his stay with the Dolphins until the end of 2027. I mean, they've been extending a few players, the Dolphins. They just recently extended Jeremy Marshall-King. Now, Hamisa Tabuai-Fidow. And really, there's nothing else to be said except it's the extension that needed to happen for the Dolphins. Would you boys agree on that?
Yeah. I mean, like, this is probably the first time in his career he's having fun. He's not just playing footy, he's enjoying footy.
Yeah. I agree. Very well put.
Apparently, sorry to bite you, Noah, but I've just been sent this by Rabbitohs, mate. The Fox are apparently reporting that the Rabbitohs on the verge of signing Jack White.
So Foxley has learned Wyden is expected to travel to Sydney on Friday to finalise what is tipped to be a 4-year deal with South Sydney until the end of 2026. What do we make of that?
Ooh. Yeah.
In my opinion, that if that happens, that is a big game changer for the Rabbitohs and their premiership hopes for next year.
But then, who do you take out though? Isaiah Tass has been great. Campbell Graham's been great.
So I'm assuming
you're not
maybe
dropping
they might
Cody
put,
Walker or Lockie Ilias.
yeah. So I'm assuming, in my opinion, I think that if they do get Wyden, I think they'll probably put Graham on the wing and they'll probably slot in Wyden at centre. But what about you, Lockie? Just a quick take on this. How big of a signing is this for the Rabbitohs, and where do you play Wyden?
Yeah, outside backs, you got Mitchell at fullback. AJ's a lock. Like, he's a lock in. Campbell Graham's a lock in. Isaiah Tass after this, he's probably a lock in.
Who's the other winger? Thompson.
Yeah, but do you put Campbell to the wing and put White at centre?
Campbell
It's
You're
Graham,
not
in my
dropping
opinion,
Cody
is
Walker.
one that
You're not
sits-
dropping Lockie Ilias.
No, I think Ellis is the future. I think maybe if at times if Cody Walker does get injured, you can put White in there. But I think the plan is to put Thompson out of the wing, put Graham back there because Graham used to play with the Rabbitohs, and put White at centre.
I think he's a waste on the wing though, Campbell Graham.
That's true.
He needs
does bring that
the
back.
ball in his hands, Campbell Graham.
He's a waste at wing. He's a great centre. He's a great defender as well.
And while we're on that point as well, how big of a loss is this for the Raiders if this does happen? It's a
Mate,
huge loss.
in my personal opinion, I think any chance of a premiership window has officially been shut down with that signing. I honestly can't believe it. Like Jack White in a Rabbitohs jersey, not in a Raiders jersey for the rest of his life. It's a shocking loss for the Raiders, and it's a huge one. It's a play that they build a club around, and it's just so devastating for a club that wants to go back to the top. They made the grand final 3 seasons ago. He won the Dally M, I think, 2 years ago as well. Clive Churchill medalist as well in the losing side. So look, it is a devastating loss. But Lockie, what kind of a toll does this take on the Raiders side right now?
I mean, to be honest, we sort of see the people leaving soon. How many years do you reckon Ricky's got left in him at the Raiders?
I think if the Raiders have a bad year, I reckon he's in the hot seat.
Like, is he at that stage of his career that if they have a bad year, Ricky's gone? Because the Raiders have had success?
But like he's the heart and soul of that place though. And I know that doesn't mean anything, but it would be a bit of a shock to Raiders fans if they sacked him, to be honest.
Can I just say though, to be fair, not a lot of people talk about it, but I think Brad Schneider in his replacement has been fantastic for the Raiders. I think even last year Brad Schneider was doing a great job for them with Fogarty. But that's just my take. What do you think? Am I being too harsh on Wyden, or do the Raiders?
I honestly,
sorry.
I honestly don't think Wyden's. I don't think South Sydney should sign him. I don't see the point in it. He's an all right centre, but I mean South Sydney, they have barely any blemishes at the moment, and if
So
anything,
you don't
I
believe
think-
Wyden could make them unstoppable force in terms
No.
of premiership success?
See,
I
if I was the Tigers, I would have signed Whiten.
Like Tigers have to look at him. I think he'll go to Dolphins. Personally, I could see him ending up there somehow. They have the money to throw at him.
Lane could get him over the line.
Yeah, I think. Well, I reckon Wayne will offer him a bunch of money. Dolphins have looked good this year. Jack White, and I think the main reason he quit representative footy, I think he wants to win a premiership.
A lot of people were saying the Broncos as well, but I think we've got Mariner
No.
in, and Jesse Arthurs has just re-signed with us. So, and White
But
is
it's
not
not
getting any
even-
younger. So, I don't
Like,
think
it's not
White-
even if Mam has a bad stretch now, Jock Madden comes in. Like, we don't need
Yeah.
White.
And then they've apparently got some young rookie and I think Jack Ahern's. I don't know if Jack Ahern's young or not, but they've got a few
No,
options
he's not.
now.
Jack Ahern.
Jack
I mean,
Hearn's
even
getting
Sailor
older.
can come in at 5'8". Who knows? They've got a lot of depth at the moment, the Broncos. And with center roles, they've got Mariner as the future who just re-signed. They've got Jesse Arthur. So I don't think he should necessarily come to the Broncos. I wouldn't mind him, though.
Nah, waste of money in my opinion.
Yeah, that's fair.
Uh,
But
but
enough of that. We've covered what we had to. Noah, up to you to finish this
Yeah.
out.
Yeah. So what we're going to do tonight is I'm going to quickly scroll through to random questions. I'm going to pick out those questions to put on the screen. We're probably only going to do about 5 questions because it's getting a bit late now, And the chat's been popping off. We've had a lot of questions. So thank you very much. We're going to choose out 5. But first, I'm going to quickly go here to this one. Sharksy says we need an exemption. We can't even name a 22-man squad. This is about the Bulldogs. The Bulldogs injury has plagued them this year.
Maybe ring up Jared Hayne.
Maybe you need to sign Jack Whiten at this point, honestly.
Well, maybe bring what's his name, Josh Jackson out of retirement.
Exactly.
Mate, just get Willie Mason. Mate, he'll bring the aggression for that pack.
Yeah, big Willie.
Next one. Oh, sorry.
I
Go
don't know
ahead.
if you boys
Sorry,
agree with
Fran.
me, but I wouldn't mind loaning Jesse Arthurs. I think because Corey Oates is back now, we've already got enough options. I wouldn't mind giving them Jesse Arthurs if we had to.
Yeah, but then Jesse Others just feels like he's a piece of dirt. He's getting loaned everywhere.
True. But we've re-signed him, so I'm pretty sure he does know that we value him. But
I don't want to ever get rid of Arthurs again. He's good depth. For me, I honestly reckon if we didn't have Mariner, he'd get the centre spot. But I think Mariner
Jesse,
might get
for
it.
sure.
But yeah, we'll stop making this about Broncos though for a bit. Knights top 8 smoky. So this is a second
Sure.
of 5.
Definitely.
They are smoky for the top 8, definitely. What do you
They
guys
won't,
think?
mate. I think the highest they'll finish is 10th.
They are
I agree
smoky.
with Lockie. I don't think they'll finish in the 8, but don't sleep on them just yet. They could be.
They are, yeah. Same for me. I don't think they'll finish top 8, but they're definitely a smoky for the 8. What about New South Wales 6? I reckon surely Hines. This is the
It
third
has
of
to be
5 we've got.
Hines.
Has to be high.
I think Matt Burton because of his bombs.
I reckon the thing is this will really show the difference between New South Wales and Queensland. If Hines is picked, it'll show the difference. If they stick with Luai, I honestly think they need to stick with Luai. I don't think he's the most talented 5'8", but
the thing is though, like
could be
the
there.
thing is though with Hines, right? Like he's a 7, so they're basically playing 2 number 7s in the at 5'8". So I don't know if they would gel well together. I know Luai hasn't like lived up to expectations, but come on, like the reason why New South Wales lost that series was because of a few silly rookie errors that they made from Crichton and Talakai and all that. Didn't Luai score a try that game? He was all right. So.
But the thing is though, even if Luai is number 6, Hines will still get a spot on the team no matter what. He'll get the 14 jersey.
That's true, but like my problem with that is that if Hines does play 14 and Luai 6, so what's the point of picking Hines? Because Hines will have to like replace Luai anyways. So we'll have to come at the number 6 row anyway. So
Yeah, but he can
Because
come
you
on and
can't
play. He
just
doesn't have
take
to
out
come on and
Tedesco
play
like
the
that.
halves. He can come and play like a ball playing lock, like what Ben Hunt does when he goes
yeah,
off.
but
And
they're
Harry
not gonna.
Kane.
They've got Murray in the back row. They've got Yo at 13. I don't think they're gonna rotate it that much. That's just
Okay,
me, though.
look, in my opinion, I think it should be Hines. Not because of like, I just think that Hines has been the better player than Luai. But then again, Luai does have the connection with Yo and Cleary and.
But knowing Phil, he will select Luai for sure.
Here's the thing. As a Queenslander, I want Fittler to select Hines at 6. I don't think it'll work. I think
I want it to be
Hines-
the opposite. I want him to select Luai.
Hines
I
and
want him to
Cleary
select Hines.
Hines and Cleary are both ball control players. They control how the game is played. I think if you have 2 players on the field who are both trying to control the game equally, I don't think it'll work out. They'll need time to sort of gel, and I don't think they'll be able to do that. So I
See,
sort of
I
hope Hines picks.
want Hines, but I think they'll pick Luai because they have the combination already.
Yeah. Now,
But that's where Queensland's gifted is Munster and Cherry Evans have made the combination so where they can flick it on when it matters.
definitely. Now I'll put up 2 more questions on the screen. The last of 2 is Vernon Snake, and this is not so much a question but a compliment. Love the different views of the game, lads. Thanks so much, Vernon.
Thanks.
We appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
It's good when there's not pornography playing.
And last but not least, Broad Wonder. Broncos on top. You lads must be happy. Where are they finishing? Start us off, Lockie.
Number 1, baby. Minor premiers.
Davos.
I'm gonna go 3rd.
Fraz.
4th.
I'm going to go 2nd. So we've got 1st,
Ooh.
2nd, 3rd, and 4th. I think we'll finish just below Penrith.
On
And
for
I
and
think we'll be
against
the
or
team
points?
this year. I reckon it'll be one game points wise. I think, and maybe a bit of for and against. I think they'll have slightly better, but we'll see. We're a young team. We'll see. But that'll wrap us up on questions, and I'll pass it over to Lockie to end us off on what's been a very long but very rewarding stream.
Yes, so that's us once again, all four of us back together. It's like a reunion. May as well call us married at first sight soon. So it's been very good. Noah, Davos, Faraz, and myself, Lockie, once again. Follow at the Instagram at the Final Sign Podcast. That's where you'll see all of our information when we'll be going live. The ladders, our team of the week, our power rankings, our 3-2-1 votes for the TFS medal. You'll see all those things on the Insta where you can give your opinions. Flick us all a message on there as well. We'll have a chat about footy no matter what. We're not like other content creators who will ego you and your requests. Subscribe to the YouTube channel, the Final Sign Podcast, where you're at now. As Faraz finally shows his mum at the end of this one.
No, sorry.
But it's been us once again. The Final Sign Podcast has been good, lads. Have a good one, and we'll be back very soon.